I was just out here doing my bacon cure and put the bacon into the fridge. I was looking at this page here. My son come out and saw the book open to the Bleenies on the other page, and so he wanted Bleenies, so that's what I'm going to make now. So here we go with our Bleenies. Bleenies are like, well, in Russian they're called Bleenie, or Blinchiki is another term used for them. It's like a crepe. Used to make these all the time when I was an exchange student in the Soviet Union. I don't remember what recipe I used back then. We used a lot of kefir and that sort of thing, and sour milk. Milk would go off really quickly there when you could get it. Anyway, so I got 2 eggs, 100 grams of sugar, salt, vanilla, and 1 liter of milk. It doesn't say how much salt and how much vanilla, so I wing it, and it doesn't say anything about flour. We'll get to that in a moment. So 1 liter of milk looks like this mark right here. This makes a lot. This is like a double batch, but my boys can eat a lot. So there is my 1 liter of milk. For vanilla, I don't know, for that much, maybe a teaspoon. That's probably good. And we'll keep it even with the salt. We'll say, well, not a teaspoon, that's kind of a lot, I guess. I'll go for half a teaspoon of salt. This is my good old rock salt here. Half a teaspoon. In it goes. And 100 grams of sugar. I don't use granulated sugar for this. I use corn sugar, mainly because I have a bunch of it left over from brewing, and I just use it up. But it seemed like a good thing to use for this for some reason. Seemed to make sense to me anyway. 100 grams is a fair bit. As it turns out, I usually reduce it some. There's like a quarter, is it a quarter cup? That's a third cup, is only 70 grams. That's probably good enough. So, I'll put that in there. Put my scale away. And now what I need to do is beat my eggs. So, get my Pyrex dish. Now, I mentioned this in one of my other videos about whisks, and I'm going to show you that in a moment. I'm going to whisk this by hand, and in doing so I am going to show you one of the secrets of whisks. So there's my whisk. You can see it's got a round handle. A lot of whisks you see have like a grip on them, you know, like a hand form grip. That's actually crap. You don't want to whisk like that, because you don't just whisk by doing this. If you want high speed whisking action, you put your whisk in like this, and the round handle, you rub it between your palms like this, as in if you trick my wife showed me. I would have never figured this out on my own. There you go, high speed whisking action, and it's a lot easier than doing this business. There. So I'm also going to whisk up this stuff here, my salt and my other business here. Oh yeah, that's good. So I'll whisk it all up, dump in my eggs, some more whiskey goodness, and I think I may run out of room here. We'll see. I don't think I've made a full batch before. I always do half batch and cut that in half, cut the recipe. So there's some whiskey goodness. And now we need, I wish I had taken record of this the last time I did it, but basically now we need some flour in there, and I'm going to be simple today and I'll use a mixture actually. I've got some whole wheat flour here. I'm going to go 1 cup of white flour. This is local Ontario organic stone ground, if I'm not mistaken. And really I should be using my KitchenAid for this. I got it back from the repair center and I'm not used to having it anymore, so I should have actually done that, but oh well. So basically what you do is you put enough flour in, and then the magic question is, of course, how much is enough? This is basically a pancake batter, but a very, very thin pancake batter. So you want to add flour. We'll just keep track of how much we're adding there. Add flour until it starts to thicken a little bit. Alright, so I'm just whisking this up. We got 1 cup of flour in there so far. I'm going to add some whole wheat. That's still not mixed very well. I just had a lump of something come out there. So maybe I should have used my KitchenAid. What I may end up doing here is hollowing out my hand blender. My problem is actually maybe I need a bigger whisk. That's a little bit too deep for this little whisk. That's part of my problem. Now, oh yeah, that should fix it right there. Yeah, I don't need my hand blender. That fixes it with a bigger whisk. Definitely gonna get her all done there. Okay. So, we got 1 cup of flour. Now I'm going to add 1/3 of a cup of whole wheat. Okay, we'll get that out of there. And really, you should be weighing your flour. I'm the first one to tell you that. I just haven't gone through this recipe with enough discipline yet and to do that. What I would normally do with a recipe that uses volumes or whatever, especially for flour, is I would make it and weigh them all out as I'm doing it, and then record the weights, and then henceforth go by weights. And that's really what I should be doing here, but I'm not. So that's not thickening enough. I'm going to go for a second 1/3 of a cup of the whole wheat. There, that's good enough. It's certainly feeling thicker. And it's still not thick enough. So I'm going to go for 1/3. So that's now a full cup of the whole wheat flour. Probably shouldn't be pouring it over this like that, but I am anyway. You know, if I slip, then it's all going in there. There. So now we're at 1 cup of white flour and 1 cup of whole wheat. Let's see where we get here. Well, we're still pretty thin, so I'm going to go for 1/3 cup more of white flour.